Tel and Angie Sackett are in their early 50s and have been together for over 25 years. Tel, a successful engineer, is a natural problem solver who approaches every challenge with the mindset of resolving it quickly and efficiently. Well, Angie, on the other hand, she values thoughtful discussion and emotional support before diving into these solutions. When it comes to finances, their differences often cause tension. Tel preferred making quick strategic decisions, but Angie, she wanted to explore the options and feel confident in their choices. Welcome to my podcast on How Not to Retire, a psychological approach to retiring healthy and wealthy. Episode 39, Problem Finding versus Problem Solving. Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Richard Himmer. Are you married to a problem solver? Are you a problem solver? In my experience with financial planners, they often view themselves as problem solvers and educators. However, these roles should not define their identity. Instead, they should possess the skills to identify the appropriate problem to address before engaging in their problem-solving mode. Furthermore, knowing how to educate is far more important than simply sharing information or facts. Here's a short case study called The Impossible Triangle to consider. David sat across from his financial planner, Mrs. Reynolds, or Jean, staring at the stack of brochures she had placed before him. He had spent years working hard and saving diligently, and now he wanted to ensure his money was working for him under his terms. However, every time he thought he'd figured it out, he felt like, something was missing. I want an investment that grows, that stays accessible if I need it, and is completely safe, David said confidently. So Jean smiled knowingly. Okay, so what you want is the impossible triangle. As she taps her pens against the notepad, David raised an eyebrow. The what? The three things money can do: growth, liquidity, and protection, she said. Every investment offers two, but no investment offers all three at the same time. David kind of leaned forward, but intrigued with this, and he said, explain that to me. Now, side note here, notice what's happening. The client informs his advisor of his desires, right? So David tells Jean, this is what I want. Jean knows this is impossible, but she doesn't resist him, and she doesn't condescend to him. She doesn't launch into this big diatribe of why he's wrong and that she can't do that. By the way, that's the first thing you don't want to do as an advisor. Say, well, I can't do that. You want to explain the principle behind it. But what she did do is she began the process of identifying the correct or the right problem, known as problem finding. What her client wanted wasn't possible. He was unaware that he didn't know. So at this stage, she gently steered him toward a better understanding. So Jean picked up one of the brochures sitting in front of David and said, okay, let's say you invest in the stock market, pointing to the brochure. It has growth potential. You can sell your shares anytime, which means it's liquid. But it's not protected. There's risk involved. Does that make sense? She said. David nodded. He goes, yeah, that makes sense. So then she picked up another brochure, handed it to him, and said, now, consider a savings account. Your money's protected and it's liquid. You can withdraw it whenever you need. However, it won't grow significantly beyond inflation. And then she looked at him, raised her eyebrows, and David looks, oh, okay, so I have to sacrifice growth if I want security and access. Exactly, Jean said. And finally, as she continued, consider a retirement annuity or long-term bond. It offers growth and protection, meaning your money's safe and it earns interest. But it's not easily accessible, and you may face penalties for early withdrawal. David sat back in his chair and rubbed his chin, scratched his head, and said, so, no single investment does it all. That's right, Jean said. The key is finding the right balance based on your goals. Do you need access to your money, and do you need it soon? Do you need it right away? Do you need it in the next 5 years, 10 years? Do you want higher returns, or is safety your top priority? So David thought for a minute, realizing that his search for the perfect investment had been, notice the word, unrealistic. Instead of chasing an impossible solution, he needed a strategy that blended different investments to achieve the right mix for his needs. All right, he said, smiling, let's build a plan that gets me the best of both, or rather the best of two at a time. Gene nodded. Yeah, now you're thinking like an investor. The delegation process with clients or students or coworkers or direct reports is a critical aspect of the financial planning, marriage, parenting, and leadership circle, if you will. It involves identifying the right problem to solve, effectively and safely educating those with whom you're communicating. So it could be a student, it could be a client, it could be your children, it could be a direct report or even a coworker. But the next part's critical. You then delegate the understanding or the ability to connect the dots all before the solution is plotted. So now let's return to our original couple, Tel and Angie Sackett. Angie had been feeling uneasy about their financial future. She often expressed concerns about whether they were truly prepared for retirement, wondering if they'd saved enough or if their investments were positioned correctly. She wanted reassurance that they would be financially okay, secure, no matter what happened. Upon hearing Angie's concerns, Tel immediately shifted into problem-solving mode. Remember, he's the engineer-type thinker here. But he did so without fully grasping her true needs. He assumed the issue was that their portfolio lacked sufficient diversification. So he spent the next days researching funds, reallocating their investments, and adjusting their asset mix to minimize risk. After making the changes, he proudly presented Angie with the updated portfolio, fully anticipating that she would feel relieved, thankful, grateful. Instead, she was frustrated. So what's the real issue here? Angie wasn't concerned about investment diversification. She focused on the stability of her retirement. She wanted a detailed plan for generating income during retirement, ensuring they could maintain their lifestyle without worrying about dramatic fluctuations. In his rush to fix the problem, Tel solved the wrong problem. Instead of providing the clarity and retirement roadmap his wife truly wanted, he focused on technical adjustments that didn't address her deeper concern. So what are the consequences when somebody or when we constantly move into solving the wrong problem and not finding the right problem? Since Tel assumed he understood the issue without fully addressing Angie's concerns, he did three things. 1, he created frustration. Angie felt unheard and dismissed, reinforcing their ongoing communication struggles. 2, it wasted time. Tel spent hours optimizing investments, but the real issue was income planning. 3, he delayed the right solution. Instead of working together on a structured retirement strategy, they now had to revisit the conversation from the beginning. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is always listen before solving. Tel realized that his natural instinct to quickly solve problems led him to assume rather than to ask. Had he taken a closed-loop approach into their discussion, in other words, taken feedback, and then taken a breath, stopped, and listened, he would have asked additional questions before acting, such as, what exactly are the concerns you have about our financial future? Or maybe he could have clarified her concerns. Are you more worried about investment risk or how we'll generate income? Now he's going to dive deeper. He's going to eliminate. And then 3, he could have validated her feelings. It sounds like you want a clear roadmap for our retirement. Is that right? And if she says yes, then he can say, okay, is it all right if we work together on that? By slowing down and prioritizing discovery over decision-making, Tel could have built trust and made Angie feel understood, ultimately leading to a better financial plan for the both. Jumping to solutions without fully understanding the problem can result in wasted effort, frustration, and missed opportunities. In both financial planning and relationships, identifying the problem must occur before solving it. True success comes from listening, asking the right questions, and ensuring the real issue is recognized before taking action. It is actually quite rare, but very valuable to find a financial advisor who asks insightful questions to uncover deeper issues. This ability to explore beyond surface-level problems distinguishes a true expert, one who practices problem finding, over the novice, the one who practices problem solving. Many advisors rely on limited tools such as equities and annuities to tackle their immediate concerns. That's like going to a builder who only has a hammer, or maybe going to a mechanic who only has a wrench. While these tools may resolve surface issues, they often overlook the underlying causes. In contrast, a problem finder operates like a skilled detective, equipped with an extensive toolkit and the right questions to identify and address deeper, more complex financial and lifestyle challenges that influence strategies, or therefore, the problem solving. Unfortunately, the financial industry as now constituted is often viewed with distrust, partly because some advisors prioritize sales and commissions over client welfare. These traditional methods frequently rely on high-pressure tactics and a one-size-fits-all solution, and that fosters skepticism. True wealth, as mentioned multiple times in this podcast, is not about accumulating money. Rather, it involves aligning financial decisions with your identity, purpose, and values. Fulfillment in retirement arises from meaningful pursuits and strong connections, not solely from financial security. Problem-finding advisors understand this, concentrating on helping clients clarify their goals and develop a thoughtful, purpose-driven roadmap for retirement that transcends mere numbers. It enhances their lifestyle. As the Chinese proverb reminds us, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Retirement provides fertile ground to sow the seeds of life-held dreams and neglected passions. With the guidance of a problem-finding financial advisor, you can cultivate a retirement that promises a harvest beyond your wildest imagination. This is indeed your bonus part of life. When seeking financial advice, look for an advisor who values the art and science of problem finding. Someone who asks insightful questions, digs deep to uncover your actual financial challenges, and helps you align your money with your values. Doing so will secure your financial future and explore the possibilities of retirement. Let me kind of draw this to a conclusion with a quote from James Clear that I'm very fond of. If you already live a comfortable life, choosing to make more money but live a worse daily life is a bad trade. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to keep working for the sake of making more money. And yet, we talk ourselves into it all the time. We take promotions that pay more but swallow our free time. We already have successful business, but we break ourselves trying to make it even more successful. The takeaway? In other words, there's too much focus on the money and not enough focus on lifestyle. Remember the difference between money and wealth. From the first podcast to this one, our focus has been on understanding the important balance between planning for retirement and paying attention to your quality of life or lifestyle that's within your portfolio. The portfolio supports the lifestyle, not the other way around. While having enough money to retire is critical, that I understand. Our first world challenge is not to become overly focused on the bottom line, but to balance it with planning a lifestyle that is in harmony with your values. As I conclude the podcast today, I invite you to take our complimentary, now live, on-demand course aptly titled, How Not to Retire. You can find it at our website, hownottoretire.com. It includes a workbook, articles, and videos to support and explain the process. Much of the material is based on this podcast series and in my upcoming book called Retirement by Design. So until next time, remember, don't try harder, try different.